like we do the snap hold drill. Someone's always posted, and you have to snap, right? And you learn as the poster not to be afraid of getting shot, and you learn as the snapper to watch your ball hit somebody. It's one thing to see yourself as you come out, right? Just to see, okay, how am I positioning? But if you don't come out enough to even have that ball go on target, and the person who's now posting learns, well, this guy's a terrible shot.
Paintball nerd. Today's guest on Paintball Nerd started playing paintball in 1995. He went pro in 2006 with Aftershock. He's played for Heat, 187, X Factor, and now plays for the Ironmen. He's been working in the industry since 2006. He's worked for Procaps, GI, now Die. He's got 12 pro wins. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Nick Slowiak. What's cracking? Oh, man.
Nothing.
Happy to have you.
Happy to be here. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Why you been avoiding me? Why you been avoiding me, Nick?
I haven't. I'm sorry. Guilty. You got me. What's up?
So,
it's shaking.
What do you? Thank you. What are you doing for Die these days?
I am the brand manager for Team Ironman. So I'm responsible for talk to Chris about that. I'm just fixing up the team site about creating Ironman exclusive branded products, so the team can generate income based off of the team, and doing a lot of social media content creation, doing a lot of stuff with the entire Die team: Billy, John, Chris, Devin, Carl, Nate, and just kind of actually was on a meeting earlier when we were going over just product releases and how we can all put our powers combined to make stuff work. So you choose Die.
I think that I would choose Die
if
you brought back the titanium barrels.
It's definitely something that's been looked into. I get asked that a lot about a lot of different things from Die, and it's even when I was working for GI and there was the JT thing was a popular topic. People just assume you could bring back things the way they were.
Yeah.
And when you get involved in the business, you learn about how things are done and the way they're done and the method of the madness. And it's definitely never as simple as it seems. It's definitely going, sticking on topic with the titanium series. It's definitely possible to do that, but
it's possible.
There's other things in line that I'm excited that are going to be coming out that I'm sure a lot of people are going to love and enjoy. So it's definitely not off the realm of possibilities. Same with a big question I get asked about is Lux threaded diebacks, which will be now ULS and ULI backs. And I can tell you that's definitely something that we're working on. But it's just, there's an order to the operations, and Die, Chris, Billy, John, Dave, Rhonda, they do a very good job of looking ahead and planning ahead. And there's just, some other things we got to get taken care of first, but we hear you. Everyone hears you. All those I3 lovers, I know, I hear you. I see all your tags, tagging Die, tagging Team Ironman. I'm in all the groups. I see it. You're not being ignored. So just know we see you.
I'll tell you, Nick, I cannot wait to reject whatever new thing comes out and tell you that you need to come out with a titanium barrel instead.
Fine. It's perfectly okay. Like, you have every right to do that.
The new barrels, the barrels with the stainless steel inserts, that's pretty great, right?
Well, they're aluminum. They're not stainless. People have asked for stainless steel inserts, and I actually talked to Billy Wing in depth about the PWR, the new ULI inserts.
Oh, they're not stainless.
No, they're not. People asked for stainless inserts, and I talked to Billy, and he kind of went into depth as to the differences. And from my understanding, like it really wouldn't, outside of the weight, right? That's the biggest difference you're going to notice. If you had a stainless steel, an original call it die boomstick, a die barrel, the weight of the back in stainless versus aluminum is going to be a difference. You'll know, right? You throw one of those to somebody versus an ultralight, it's going to make a big difference.
Sure.
You can definitely hurt somebody. So don't try that at home. Okay, let them know ahead of time. Just hand on the barrel.
Yeah.
But with the job, the micro honing that Dye does in house on the inside of the barrel for the bore is done so well that outside of like in the grade of aluminum is so high that like there's really no major difference in terms of the finish you're going to get in using either back or either insert. So, and from what I've been told too is that because of the very minimal difference you'd have is like there's no outside of nostalgia of like I'm an older player and I love my stainless steel barrel. Like they really should be the same. You take the same bore back and you shoot them side by side. It really should. I would argue that the newer barrels would be better just because they've done such a good job with maintaining the tolerances and keeping out quality control.
Well, to that I answer this.
Where's my titanium back?
Yes, and also, right? Perception is 9/10.
Oh yeah. Is it a law or is it just everything?
Perception is reality. So if I feel like the stainless steel is a harder material and you can hone it better and it makes me play better, that could very well be a reality that I manifest. Much like the titanium barrel that I've been requesting for over a decade.
You're not the only one.
The sparks. It's the sparks, Nick. Like
I wish I'd have brought my gear bag. I have one in my gear bag. When we won the last tournament, the Ironman won, I used the titanium barrel. And it was fantastic.
You see?
And it definitely got dark enough out to where you could see sparks. Thank you, NXL.
And you could even argue that the reason that you won was because you were using a titanium barrel.
I'll let you make that argument.
All right. Well, Nick, man, you've been playing paintball for a very long time. You started playing paintball when you were old enough to actually sign a waiver at the paintball field or have your parents sign it for you.
That's correct.
So tell me about the first time you played paintball and why you fell in love with it.
So yeah, I've definitely told the story quite a few times, and I love it. My dad brought it up to me. There was a newspaper article about a paintball field opening up, or that was opened in Hampshire, Illinois, called Operation Paintball (OP), and I was all about it. Like just kind of the ultimate game of cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians. And my dad painted a pretty good picture of what it was, and I said, "Sure, let's do it." So as soon as I turned 10 to where I could play under the insurance laws and rules, we got together with a family friend of ours and his son, who was a year older than I, and we went and played. And I think it was just being able to be sneaky. Like there was a really popular game, Ghost in the Graveyard, we'd play in the neighborhood where you just had to hide and sneak up on people. And I loved throwing on my camouflage, my BDUs, and just hiding and being sneaky. And I took pride in that. And so I got to do that in paintball. And Oliver says it in the videos, like the joy you get from just shooting someone with a paintball gun, like knowing that it hurts and just like them not seeing it coming it was undescribable. And to be able to do that as a 10-year-old and shoot adults and shoot some of the guys that played that were they're like auto mags with like remote lines and were intimidating as hell with their big CO2 tanks. And I was like, this is great. And I pulled off a couple games. One game, my family friend actually came up behind me and told me to surrender. And I turned around and he was 5 feet in front of me. I just pulled the trigger. And I just remember seeing his eyes just go super wide. And he's like, "You didn't surrender." He's like, "No, he didn't. And obviously, he shot you." And then probably my favorite thing was just seeing people shoot at my dad and watching my dad like running like Superman dive over a fallen tree. And then me getting mad, like, "Stop shooting my dad." It just hooked me. And it was just crazy to me because like this was just something that you could do. And I played baseball my entire life. And it was just, you're constantly active and doing something, and the moves you make can completely change the game when you're playing 20 on 20 on a 300 by 200 foot field in the woods or the brush. And here that was in Northern Illinois. I mean, we've got all sorts of topography. So it was just a lot of fun, and it hooked me. And my parents told me that if, I wanted to continue to do it, I just had to get good grades in school, and they'd help me get my gear and get stuff. And so as I progressed from like my Piranha from a Stingray to a Piranha to an A&S series autococker who was just doing good in school, and I was completely happy staying in the woods. I had no desire to go play tournament paintball. I was like, why would I want to go out on a field where people will know I'm at and I'm wearing a bright jersey? Like, just, you can't hide in this. Like, I need a ghillie suit. I need tree cover. So any of like and then when I started, there was plenty of that, right? You weren't always playing on sub air or concept fields or hyperball. You were playing in the woods. So like those games I did really well at. I was a little shy and bashful when we had to step out in the open. But yeah, that's I kind of jumped ahead, but that's the first time I played and I got hooked.
I love it, man. Were you scared?
I honestly wasn't. You know, what was crazy is the first time I got shot was like right in like inside the shoulder in my chest, like right below my collarbone, and it hit me and it didn't break. And I was like, that was it. Like it was. I've been playing baseball. I've been hit by plenty of pitches, and so like this was like it was intimidating to hear the paintballs flying by. But the thing you have to remember is like no one was shooting electronic. Like it wasn't like a lot of paintballs were flying at you. It was very like maybe even not that quick. And so it wasn't all that scary. And it was an easy way to relate is in playing baseball and watching a pitch come at you. I was just blown away at how easy it was to watch paint fly. So it wasn't really all that scary until I got shot in the wrist and it hurt like a mother, and I cried and I was like, this is stupid, I don't want to do this. And the ref's like, you can't cry in paintball. And I was like, and that didn't break either. It didn't break it. And I was like, well, it didn't break. He's like, yeah, but you cried, so you're out. Like you can't be doing that, 10 kid. Like get out of here. I was like, oh.
Dude.
But it was just that you could get shot and then all you had to do was wipe it off and go out there and play again. Or if you really wanted to, you just wipe it off and continue to play. But obviously the consequences of doing stuff like that.
Yeah. The first time I got shot, and I still remember it, and it still makes me scared to play paintball. It was on my left upper thigh, and I had a huge bruise. I was a little kid, and I was really scared to get shot. I wasn't scared to play paintball. I still wanted to play paintball because I loved it, but I remember that feeling was like really scary. Like this, this hurts.
That's a spot you definitely don't want to get shot at.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get shot in the upper thigh unless you're just kind of standing there in the open, which I was. So it taught me a valuable lesson, which is take cover. So how did it lead to going pro in 2006 with a legendary team Aftershock, where you also had a legendary win, which I'll let you talk about here right now?
Yeah. So I think it definitely was a blessing to grow up, like just come up the way I have in having a pro team, and it being Aftershock, and Rannick Miller doing everything he did at Badlands to build up that organization along with others. But it just attracted a lot of really good paintball players. And so as we progressed through the ranks of tournaments, playing at the CPSA, playing at CPX, the Challenge Cup, and things that are unfortunately no longer around, it led us to the Badlands series, and then getting introduced to Aftershock and seeing the amount of talent that they attracted, especially when they were getting ready for major tournaments. And, it was one of those things I think we all quickly realized as a group, like we're doing this to get better, play at a higher level. And I mean, for me, it was more about just the enjoyment of playing with my friends. And I didn't take it seriously in wanting to go pro until I got cut and was told I wasn't dedicated enough. Because for me, I had to work. I couldn't play.
When did this happen?
This was 2005, because I was playing for Team Voltage, got cut. There was a merger of quite a few guys from different teams. And so admittedly, there were guys that were better than me. And I just couldn't play all the time because I was driving to practices. I was paying for paint. And back then we're paying 80. Yeah. We're paying a lot more money. We didn't have all the deals. Like maybe we got paid for $50, but like I paid for a lot, and I played in the back, and we didn't pool paint. So even as we're starting to progress into at that time period, I had a Shock Tech SFT shocker that out of the box with the nerve board, which I actually still have in my little container over here, shoot like 22 balls a second on the box. And if you're playing, you know, the back and you're not pooling paint and you're responsible for you know, all the paintballs you can shoot, you're going to shoot a lot of paint. And it was just expensive. I was umpiring baseball. I was working as a lifeguard at a cashier at a pool. I was working at a Cold Stone Creamery serving ice cream. And you know, in umpiring baseball and working at Cold Stone, I made the most money on the weekends. Baseball was only played, you know, weekday nights, and I do double, triple headers Saturday and Sunday. And so the team was moving in a direction where they had to, you know, I got cut from the team because it was just dedication and, you know, hey, you're not playing as well as other people. And that really pissed me off. And it really forced me to drive to become better than my friends. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna get better than you guys. Like, I'm gonna get there before you guys do. And it kind of worked out in the 2006 season and going into 2007 because we had the opportunity to play against those guys and beat them a few times. And I mean, that was kind of it. But Aftershock was the team that you aspired to be on because you were there. And, you know, it was a lot of waiting around at our local paintball store, Fox Paintball, for the, you know, the next VHS tape to drop, or you're on PB Nation searching or waiting for the next like Paintball 2 Extremes or PGI or Paint Magazine to come out to see who had won and how people had done. And it was always leading up to that point. It was shock. But that was also an interesting time in paintball because in the early 2000s, you were transitioning out of 10-man into X-ball. And that's where learning from the old Shock guys and hearing Ronnie Simpkins and Sransky and all the guys that were at the field, you know, you hated the All-Americans, and then you learned to hate Dynasty because they robbed Aftershock of that World Cup. And so you respected the Ironmen, right? Because at that time, like it was red Ironman and blue Aftershock, and Ironman did come out a few times to Badlands in practice. And I can remember laying this off topic. You remember them practicing X-ball or 10? It had to be X-ball, it was electronic, and I was laying on the ground, and the points would start, and just watching the amount of paint flying through the air, I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. But we eventually, at the time too, when Aftershock had no one to play against, we were the team that was always ready and say, hey, you guys get down there. It sucked because those guys at that time were pointing their guns down towards the ground, and we were like, yeah, we'll do the legit thing and touch the start gate and start with our guns up here. And we just got destroyed. But that was it. I got cut from a team with all my friends, Chris Osteen, Greg Osteen, Mike Morley, Joey, like a bunch of guys, Drew Templeton, Josh Yost, and they went on, had success, won Division II MPPL in Miami, and then had a full die deal, head to toe die. And then I went the other route and just sat around at the field and just waited for someone on Aftershock to be tired or not be ready, and someone would throw me in, and eventually got to the point where I was shooting more people than I was getting shot. And then Nick Matthews had to leave the team, and I got a job at Procaps in 2006 working for Psalm. And then he came in one day and was like, hey man, you want to play for the team? And the team I was playing on, Denver Altitude, which was the Shock Kids previous, was coming into town to practice Aftershock. And I had to tell them like, hey guys, I'm not playing with you this weekend. I'm playing against you. I'm on Aftershock now.
Oof.
Yeah, they understood.
It's always rough to do that, you know, at the day of the practice or the day before.
Yeah, I mean, I let them know a little ahead of time. But yeah.
You know, that just
this moment.
I'm gonna go on a quick segue here because it just reminded me of something. When Oliver joined the Ironman, rejoined the Ironman for the second time in his career, he did it at Hollywood Sports Park the day that we were practicing Dynasty. And he didn't tell them until everyone was getting geared up in the parking lot.
Yeah. That's a very popular story. I tried to I feel like there's some similarities, but like, nah.
Yeah, there is. That's why I brought it up.
I was like, yeah, hey guys, just so you know, I'm not on the team anymore.
What's up with Aftershock wearing green for a moment in history?
So at the end of 2008, Shock went from being a dye sponsored team to a Planet Eclipse sponsored team. And that all happened kind of quickly. And at the time, Planet Eclipse would like pre-make all of their jerseys. They'd like pre-supplement all their jerseys. And so for most of the 2009 season, we didn't have like an actual jersey. When they did make them, they wanted to be, and I honestly, I wasn't part of this discussion. Like this is what I'm thinking. I know they wanted something new. And so whether it was Rennick or them or Psalm, when they had this meeting, they chose green. LTZ was done. I don't think there were any green teams. And so they made us green jerseys, and we did a run of, we did have some blue 010 egos, and we did have a set of 10 green ones, green and cream, green and white. And so that was, from as far as I'm aware, that was a Planet Eclipse decision to kind of rebrand the team in green. And so that carried on, I think, from like end of 2009 to 2011, where we went with Style Supply for jerseys to get customized. And we had like this bomber jersey with the years that Shock had won tournaments, and then Drew Templeton redesigned one. And that's the last, at the end of 2011, when we won our tournament, and the team, everyone kind of went their own separate ways. At least my generation of guys went their own separate ways, is when I think the team went back to blue. But I was gone, so I don't even know. I couldn't tell you what color they went with.
What color do you feel like you play best in?
What color do I feel I play best in? I don't know. I don't think that
It's a trick question. The answer's red. The answer's red, Nick. Right?
I don't know. Like, I don't. Maybe
Ironmen wear red. You're on the Ironman.
Yeah. But color has nothing to do with it.
Oh, it doesn't? I thought that was the only factor.
No, look, there was
I've been misinformed.
I swear I would never wear red, ever.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow. It was blue. It was Aftershock to the day I die. Like, I didn't want to leave. I never wanted to leave. And it was a hard thing to do. And that's what made me kind of mad going to Heat, because I was like, oh, we're red? Like, fuck, man. I hate red. Because, I don't know. It was just one of those things. Like, it was Aftershock blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I wouldn't say color's a thing, because the nice thing now is that like I love our away jerseys are predominantly black. Right?
I like those.
Fun making
I
some
like
black
those
jerseys.
a lot. I may have seen a blue Ironman jersey.
Oh yeah.
I may have one.
See, so Keith DeVitt on our team, he designed a what did he design? He designed
Titanium Barro.
No. I like we're gonna keep running back to that. He designed a jersey. It was off of our Texas jersey, but he made it for the Hurricanes in blue. And I made a post on the Ironman social channel saying, "What if the Ironmen were blue? Like, what if for whatever reason?" Because this is the thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe you know this. Is why did when Dye started, or technically, I mean, when the Ironman split, right, and Dave had his Ironman, why did the team go with red? Why, after the switch from JT jerseys, which I'm pretty confident the majority, like even Aftershock had red JT jerseys, like everyone had, like everyone wore every color of JT jersey. It was just the thing you did when the new design came out. But I don't know why Dave chose red, right? I think it was the 2004 core. I mean, it was, the core jerseys. Like, that was the big thing where Aftershock had their blue ones, and they were all wearing those damn orange Aftershock headbands, and then the Ironmen were red. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, I made that post, and people lost their minds. Like, oh, you're like Dynasty. And then I think it was like, who was it? It's Paxton. Like, no, that'd be Aftershock. Noobs, learn your history.
So the reason why is because they were trying to figure out what teams to wear what, and Aftershock wanted to go with blue, and the only other team was the Ironmen, and Ironmen went with red. And
just that clean and simple.
It's that simple. Yeah.
Because blue, so
and in the Ironman logo, right, the iron and the men, if we're talking about the color logo, the original color logo, that's not just a stencil, the text is red.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
So it made sense to do that, and as far as I know, that's what it was. It's just like there's two flagship teams. Aftershock wanted to go blue, and Ironman You know, they went red. But like the JT jerseys, like the cotton pullovers, those were all gray.
They were, right? Like there, I mean, there was, I don't know, you could go back and find a bunch of those in different colors. I think. I'm trying to think because, like, again, I would pay attention to the magazines. Like I've owned
the Rays jerseys. Yeah, the Rays jerseys have different colors. You're right.
I've owned a few different old jerseys that were different colors. I mean, I don't know. And I think it was probably at that time too, you were just ironing on the names and the numbers and like some of the simple logos in the back, so anyone could have had any jersey. But I think I remember like one of Oliver's when he joined the team, one of his first Ironman jerseys wasn't red. It was like a gray JT jersey. I don't know.
Really?
Someone will watch this and they'll figure it out, and then we'll get messaged. Like, you guys read this?
Yeah, John Dresser will watch this and like send a long email
yes,
with a bunch of corrections.
100%. That is
magazine clippings. He, you know, like I affectionately view you as a paintball nerd, Nick. But Dresser is like he's like the almost like the Yoda of nerds, right? You know, he's at another level. So, you know, he's my people. Tell me about your favorite memory in paintball.
I mean, the easiest answer to that is winning the 2011 Vegas Championships against Dynasty in 7-man. First pro win, like the last pro win Aftershock's ever had. I think it was the first pro win Aftershock had in like 15. Might have been like one of the longest droughts coming from a legendary, iconic team. But to be able to have the crappy year we did with the transitioning of players and personnel from X-Ball, from the PSP to the MPPL, to getting to know Randy Sarge, who's the owner of Heat, and have some of the new guys come on the team that are now continuing to play. Ronnie Dazan and Ryan Smith and LJ Woodley. And to just win with my friends, to win with Cody, my brother-in-law, to win with Chris Oseen and Drew Templeton, was probably just one of those magical things, because everything like that year kind of sucked, and it ended with a great win, but it also ended with those guys all leaving to go play for Infamous. Thanks, Damien. And then Chad Boucher tell me about some shenanigans to create Houston Heat. But that was it. I mean, to play that event and win it the way we did, with the people that I won it with, and have Planet Eclipse then make a video that encompassed the entire year, so that like there's no way you can, it's like kind of immortalized. And it's, you know, a lot of people say it's probably easily one of their favorite videos that people have ever seen. That, and then,
he's talking about One Night in November, folks. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch it right now. It's amazing. It'll give you the goosebumps. It's just, it's why we play paintball. You watch that, you're like, this is why people love this game.
Yeah, so easily. And even Cassie Sanders, you know, HK did a great event video where they captured, you know, Mouse in the game we played them in the finals, just wiping a hit. I think they recently reposted it on their social and their Instagram not too long ago.
Yeah.
But there were so many ways that event was captured that just highlights a win of the first pro win, a 7-man win, beating the best 7-man team in history, playing against Oliver Lang and Alex and Yosh and Ryan, and finally getting a victory in that manner makes it easily the most memorable. I mean, and then you can flip to say the next year, joining Houston Heat and playing with Fedorov, Mishka, and Sergey and Chad George and Sam. Just to do that with carrying over and Ronnie and LJ, to winning 3 events that year in the series and doing something that had never been done, was just as epic. But it all started, you know, end of 2011 to the end of 2012 is just, it was a really good time for me in paintball.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Aftershock win in 2011. Walk me through the final minute of that game and what's going through your head as you recognize that you're about to win that event. I
mean, it's one of those things where like there was no, I'll tell you this: there was definitely no realization that we were going to win until the flag was taken from the others from their start station and hung on ours, because we had played. It's a best of 3. We won the first one pretty convincingly. Like, people just died out of their spots. I don't even, and I don't know that you can go back and even find. There was a whole webcast of the entire day, and I don't know that that's out there anymore. I know Drew Templeton had saved, but I couldn't even tell you the first game. Like, it happened so fast with people on their team just died. I do know that we lost Chris O'Seen early, and I knew what Dalton would do, and I switched and shot right and shot Dalton filling into the Dorito, and then Ronnie did really good going down that side. Drew did a good job getting in the snake. We just won the first game really convincing, and when we switched sides, it got kind of crazy, and it came down to, I think, almost like a 3-on-1, where I shot Ryan coming down the Dorito tape. I shot Yosh. That's the point that Mouse wiped and was in our snake. He took out LJ. Glenn Takamoto was coming from the snake corner to come shoot me, and I run out and use this tall juice box to block him out, and I shoot him, and he shoots me in the butt, and as he shoots me in the butt, I'm coming up on Mouse and the snake, and I point to my butt. The refs aren't making any calls. I spin and shoot Mouse. He turns and shoots me. Look at the refs. There's no calls. I didn't think I was hit. I didn't feel any hits on me, and so I just ran for the buzzer, the buzzer. I ran for the flag, grab it. The refs run me down, and there's a hit on my tank. Well, which is where it's funny, because all of a sudden, like Mike Peverill and I think Tom Cole and all the powers that be that should have nothing to do with what happens on the field have a meeting in the middle of the field, and they rule that I was shot before Mouse was hit, and so Dynasty gets the win on that one. It wasn't a mutual, meaning that if we stalemated the third game, it came down to all we needed was more points, right? We already won the first game with the pole to hang, and so that to me really pissed me off, because I felt like,
got robbed.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. There was such a very big difference in how things happened in the NXL, and I'm not talking like the league. I'm talking about the PSP NXL. It was night and day difference. When you played the PSP and you were in the NXL and you were franchise teams, those refs were, when you run into the corner and you're hit, like they're calling you out. Like, it's not like they have to wait to check you. Like they know they had their system, and their skill set was very good, and it was probably the best. And in the NPPL, it really wasn't. And the crazy thing is that one call, one penalty, because of points, would change everything. And so there was a lot more chaos. Like, the consistency wasn't there, and that would hurt you. So like going down to that final minute, it was just watching Drew go down the snake and call the kills and seeing the bodies walk off and hearing that communication across the board, because we had locked it up so well and didn't really lose anyone, that it was just like, okay, cool. But like, a ref could just miraculously call a 3-for-1 and you could lose everybody, or there could be, whoever grabs the flag and hangs it could be hit, or they could chrono you off and someone could shoot hot. Like, there were so many variables to just, until they gave you the thumbs up, you were good, and like no one had a chrono like crazy. Like, after what happened in the second game, I was like, man, dude, let's just get all the kills. And it wasn't until we got the thumbs up that it was like, holy shit, we won, we did it. Like, okay, yeah, we did it. And then there was a celebration. Like, I was holding my breath the entire time. I was like, after what just happened, I'm not going to scream early. I'm not going to high five. Like, it was literally, let's grab this thing. Let's run back. Everyone get called clean. Let's upper management of the league should come on the field. Otherwise, let's give us our trophies and shake our hand and say good game. And then we can celebrate and go crazy.
There's no counting your chickens until
no, absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. And that was what was going through my head. Like, man, just finish this point out, right? Like, there's G6, there's kill 5, there's kill 6, there's kill 7. Let's grab the flag. Someone check me. We won. We won.
Was there like a feeling of like, as far as like being a professional paintball player, was there like this feeling of arrival that you had of like, I made it?
Oh, like arriving on the pro scene?
Yeah. Like you felt like at that moment you kind of made your stamp, made your impact on the game.
Like during that win? You know what? Like, kind of not. I mean, it definitely was a relief because of all the hard work a lot of our guys had put in, and a lot of the guys that along the way had played for Shock and then couldn't play there. That like were just really good friends of mine, and it was something that, you know, to an extent we all dreamed of playing together, playing on Aftershock and winning. And so to be able to do that and look and see Drew and see Chris and then see Cody, was like, that was the nice feeling. Like that was a really nice feeling and a really nice relief. And then kind of like be able to talk to and get like those phone calls and those texts from those guys that had been a part of the journey even before we made it on the Aftershock, but had talked about getting to that level. That was definitely nice. But like along the way, there were small little blips, right? I can remember the first time we beat Dynasty and X-Ball and listening to an interview that I think Alex Frazier gave saying, when we lost the Shock, like we never lose to those guys. Like so much time had gone by, which really, in like not a lot of that time had gone by to where, you know, that's not what a Dynasty would be saying. It's Aftershock beats people. You know, like, you know, why do you go to tournaments to watch Aftershock pound people? So like that to me, there were small little victories that I found along the way, because there were plenty of times where 2008 season was terrible. Like I wanted to quit paintball. Like we lost like almost every match in every tournament. Like we took a lot of games to overtime and still lost. And it was like, paintball sucks. Yeah, paintball really sucks. But I don't know, because I'd like to think that if the team had continued on, then maybe. But because the majority of the guys left to go to Infamous, and it was essentially Cody and I standing with a whole new teammates, a whole new squad of guys. Like, yeah, I mean, no, because Aftershock was completely ripped apart, and so yeah.
So it was like this special moment that you knew it was just like
it ended up being that just with the win with my friends and the people that I've been playing with for a long time, with the new guys on the team, with the new friends and people I've met, with support of Rennick, and the sponsors that we've had, and then that all like being the bright spot to the end of the year, and then it all kind of getting ripped away and then made into that video one night over by Eclipse. That's what made it as special as it was, right? Otherwise it could have just been chalked up to like, yeah, it's a team, right? They won the event, right? But and then, you know, again, winning at the end of the year. There were so many little things that played into it that built it up to what it was, that made it easily one of the greatest moments of my life.
Who's been your favorite teammate over the years?
Favorite teammate over the years? I think Chad Boucher is probably the easy answer. Playing with him on local teams and playing with him on Aftershock, playing with him on Houston Heat, and then just being good friends, best friends with him ever since. We haven't played on the same team in a while. So there's one. Tim Montresor was a great teammate. He was a fantastic teammate, not only because of what he brought to my life on the field and paintball wise, but just from his outlook on working in the industry and doing stuff with the smart parts, with DLX, with Lux, and just how to be a man and be yourself, and do things the Pittsburgh way. Drew Templeton. I mean, there's a laundry list of guys that I could put down, and I would say the majority of the things wouldn't be what they've taught me as a teammate on the field, but just being a friend of life in life, and being someone, a friend to turn to off the field, just to handle stuff. Greenspan, we played in 2013. He played the Millennium Series with Heat. So being a teammate of his and just learning who Ryan was and rooming with him the entire year is a huge value, huge thing for me. Definitely learned a lot.
Who is your favorite player to watch?
Like now?
No, throughout all time. Like if you could pick one player that you just love watching or loved to watch in the past when they played, if they're retired, who would you pick?
So the easy answer for me would be Anthony Fiesa, and I don't know if I'm saying his name I don't know
I
if I'm
don't know
saying
who
his
that
last
is.
name right. So he played for Impact for a long time. Was an original member of Impact. And back, it could have been the last year that the PSP was at the Disney World of Sports Complex.
Mm-hmm.
Was when Maddie and PB Access was really starting to do stats. We got knocked out early as Shock, and they asked me if I would help. And so I was one of the first people to do like the official kill counting. And so in doing that, it really, if you're really trying to do a good job and focus on people getting eliminations, I had to sit on the Dorito side in the tower. And then back then we had massive, towers were like 20, 30 feet up. The scaffolding was huge. And so I sat there for, I think, all of Sunday and just watched people play the D side. It would radio over confirmed kills that I saw. And so it really forced me to watch people. And I never really paid attention to Anthony all that much, and a lot of the guys on Impact for that matter, but would learn to, because I would end up other story going to Canada and playing in their league with Darcy Slickenmeyer. But I just watched him play the Dorito side, and I felt better than anyone else in the way that he played and finessed and did things and got kills. Like, it was not just about me appreciating or like just doing my job, but just appreciating the effort and the mental gymnastics he was putting into it to get those eliminations. And it forced me to look at his play, forced me to look at my play and how others played, and kind of gauge what people were doing and think about why they were doing it. And so, that would be the easy answer. Like, based on watching him play the matches, and I think it could have been one of the first ones that their sets. I'd have to go back and find who they were playing on those days in that tournament. But watching him play set the bar for me on how to gauge and watch other people. And I felt he did the best of anybody.
Does he still play?
No, he's not playing professionally. Does he dabble, with those guys in Canada? I don't know.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But he's someone I'd say easily top of my list because of that. I love watching LB Foul play. He was definitely a big mentor to me. And coming up in the pro ranks, I played essentially the same positions as him. And so I'd always try and listen to what he had to say or watch how he played the field and would mimic him. Bruno, like Mike Bruno was easily. Saransky, Todd Adamson, those guys. Although admittedly, I didn't get to see those guys quite as much. Saransky in the early days when he was on Aftershock. But yeah, those guys, those are the easy ones that come to mind.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I see you got some cool gear there behind you.
Yeah, you got cool gear everywhere here.
Show us something cool and special. Show us something that you'd get in trouble for showing.
I don't know that I'll get in trouble for showing this stuff, but so the one thing that's been nice throughout the years is, oh my gosh, I realized that was a bad idea to move and put this on my cord, is just to be able to collect stuff that I've always wanted. So I have no shortage of cool old guns here.
Ooh, is that an image? That's a trauma matrix.
So this is a Shock Tech matrix. So interesting. So Shock Tech, Danny Love and company made the image. It was kind of the same thing. Shock image and trauma matrices were made by Shock Tech. And some of them you'll see will have the logo here, and some will have them up here. But this is a Shock Tech one that I got. One of my first electronic guns from Shock Tech was an Intimidator, and these things just ripped. So this is my second Shock Tech Intimidator I have.
Do those still work? Both those?
No, these are in need of some tender love and care.
Okay.
Those need some work. This needs some work. I got this. This is an eBay find.
That's a solid drop forward you got on
there. Yeah, right.
So you can play tight with that bad boy.
Like one of the Gen 1s, maybe Gen 2 Intimidator.
Yeah. With a Revy on it.
Oh yeah, dude. And no, real, the Revy works. All my Revies work. Can't go wrong with the Revy. Here's your image. This is an image Shock Tech.
Yeah, that's
matrix.
nice.
And the cool thing with this is, so it's 2014. I'm going to Paris for the Millennium Series, and it's Richmond Italia's birthday. And this was originally Richmond's gun. They went to England to play in a tournament. They brought over these guns, just playing for image, gave this gun to a guy whose gun went down and told him to keep it. And that weekend in 2014, the guy gave Richmond his gun back, which is this gun. And was like, I've had this gun this entire time. I've been meaning to give it back to you. I'm so thankful for you. You know, it just happened to be Richmond's birthday. And so, you know, Richmond's like, oh, cool, thanks. And then he was like, well, I'm not going to play with this. So do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I want that gun. I was like, this is sweet.
Nice.
I had picked up another Shock Tech Matrix there from a guy in Europe. So that was a pretty sweet thing. So that gun's got a cool history behind it. What else do I have? I actually traded, this is a original Gen 3.
Is that an SFL? Okay.
With one piece aluminum dieback or die barrel. But I traded I think like a Geo 3.5 for this thing, and Blizzard Anodizing did it for me. And I had dirt bad boys put this thing together. I mean, I still have my SFT shocker, a Shock Tech shocker. I got a lot of cool guns.
How many guns do you have?
I had my Unicorn, I had a Westwood autococker.
Let me see that one.
Here's my second Intimidator. This thing works. Danny Love actually asked me about this. He said he needed one. So I think
he needed one.
in September is the final ICPL. I'll bring this and give this to Danny if he wants it.
Are you playing
But
Chicago
yeah,
ICPL?
outside of guns, I think that's it. I got a bunch of
What's that blue fade thing I'm looking at right there?
other things. Yes. I got to shout out to Buddy Bauer in Free Flow. He made me this.
That's tight.
Yeah, I don't know. Guns. I have guns everywhere. I got parts everywhere.
I love it, dude. Paintball nerd. How many guns do you have?
Uh-oh. I can't hear you. What did I
Can't
do?
hear me?
Is it me?
What'd you do?
Can you hear
I've
me?
been talking this whole time. Yeah, I can hear you.
Uh-oh. This is bad.
Thumbs
Have I
up.
been talking this whole time and no one can hear me?
No, we can all hear you. I can hear you. I think
no, I
that
can
when
hear
you
you.
went to go grab something, you unplugged your headset maybe.
I did.
And I just heard a train. I heard a train.
Yeah. Okay, good deal. It freaked me out. I was like, oh, crap. I just talked about all these guys. Yeah. Realizing
Well,
I can't hear you.
Yeah. No, we heard it. Everyone heard it, right? Yeah, we're good. But I asked you several times and you didn't answer, and now I know why.
Yeah.
How many guns do you have?
Probably 30-ish guns. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got 13. I've got 13 guns here in my office, and I know I've got another I got that same amount back at my house.
Wow. How
Make
many?
sure- Yeah, all sorts of guns.
How many Nick Slowiak jerseys do you have?
I don't think I have like maybe 3 over here in a box.
You should send one to me.
100%. You can. I'll send you this one.
Oh, can you sign it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
What color is this?
Pink.
Okay, good. It looks red on my screen. So I was like, oh, this could be deceiving.
Yeah, that's a throwback from the C2 before it wasn't called C2, it was called Core.
Yep. Oh yeah. Core jersey.
So I have a Barro Core jersey in blue.
With Ironman on it, or is just a?
Yeah, with the Ironman on it.
Yeah. So I feel like, and it was really cool. I want to give a shout out to say Billy Wing, because we got our at Cup in 2008. We got our 2009 jerseys, Aftershock jerseys, and I didn't know that going into the next season we wouldn't be sponsored by Dyn anymore. And so I think I just gave that jersey away. And Billy Wing, I remember bringing this up to him. We were at a tournament the following year in Dominican Republic, and I was like, man, I'd really love one of those Aftershock jerseys. Like, do you guys think you could make one of those? He's like, yeah, dude, we got a bunch of them. And I didn't really think much of it. Like, I never really had much interaction with Billy. And a month or two later, get a package in the mail from Dyn from Billy Wing, and it's a I think he sent me two. He made me two Aftershock 09 jerseys. So yeah, I still have
the
got
man,
a bunch
dude.
of those. He is
Billy Wing is the man. You know, when I was on the Ironman, many people would say that he took me under his wing. Huh? That's great. Nick, what advice would you give to players that want to get to your level in paintball?
You have to have a game plan. And you need to get out this idea that you have to go and consistently play 5-on-5 paintball. You know, I think the philosophy behind practices, as the practice schedule has evolved throughout the years that we've all seen from layout releases, you know, you don't need to go out there and just play 5-on-5. You have to go out there and work on the fundamentals and the basics and treat it like you're going to the gym. You know, you go, you don't, this is where, and like people talk about how paintball is expensive and, you know, like it's, shut the hell up, man. Like you don't need 2,000 paintballs and a full airball field to get better. You know, you need get a stapler and a paper plate and a telephone pole or your tree. Like I was snap shooting, like lucky for me, I had a tree in my backyard, a branch fell over and there's a hole in it and I could only shoot out of my garage back door left-handed. That's how I get better at left-handed snap shooting. Get creative and find ways to just get better at the things that you know you are bad at, and don't be a turd and lie to yourself and lie to other people about the things that you need to work on. I think that's the big thing. Like, you know, identify those things that you're not good at and just put in the time to getting better at them, right? Just like going to the gym. Like I want bigger biceps, like if you're bodybuilding or whatever, like I want to get stronger doing this. Well, you have to put in the work and the focus and the intensity into getting better at those things. And if you're not comfortable playing a certain position or playing a certain bunker, then you have to do that. Like you have to be cognizant of those things and just do it. So that's what I would say to people. That, and always ask questions and think critically about why people did things or why you got shot or why someone made the move they did, and be able to take constructive criticism. You know, it's tough, and we're not always the best at it after we're getting shot. It's so easy to go, well, if the Dorito side just lived, or if the snake side just lived, or you know, ask not what your team can do for you, but what you can do for your team. There's a lot right there.
There was a lot right there.
Don't suck.
Yeah, don't suck. Don't, you know, drop your ego. Identify what you're not good at, and then, you know, research, test, evaluate, and get better.
Yeah, just do. You know, find ways to gauge how you can get better. Make use of your friends and have someone watch you. Record yourself. You're recording yourself on your phone right now, right? I had no idea. It's how hard would it be to set your phone up, and when you do breakouts, Brian Greenspan's really good at this for the BKI stuff that we do for the summer camp coming up. You record stuff, and it's so you learn so much by watching yourself do repetitive movements over and over again. And I find it's easy to say take that out of the. I like to say it, take that out of the box snapshot of yourself and try to identify when you're doing drills like, is my elbow coming out? Am I leaning with my loader? Like, where's my feet? Is my barrel pointed at the target? Like, but you know, in the moment, sometimes you get lost, and that's where you know, if you can set up your phone to record yourself at an angle when you're doing things, do that. You know, there's no shortage of ways to get creative and working towards bettering yourself on the field, and so just don't make the excuses. And I promise you, if you practice doing it with one thing, you can do it with the next, and it's just baby steps and building up towards it, and that's, you know, applicable to everything you do in life.
You don't even need paintballs for that. You could do that in your living room. Set up couch cushions, set up your phone, and pop out and see what your profile looks like. You could do that in the mirror. You know?
I will argue against that and say, don't do that. And the only reason why I say that is because I've had people. We do the snap hold drill. Someone's always posted, and you have to snap, right? And you learn as the poster not to be afraid of getting shot, and you learn as a snapper to watch your ball hit somebody. And I've had people say, oh, I'll be good at this because I practice snap shooting all the time at my house. I'm like, well, with what? Like, why just snap at myself in the mirror? Like, well, if you don't know where your paintball's going and you don't have your, you know, it's one thing to see yourself as you come out, right? Just to see, okay, how am I positioning? But if you don't come out enough to even have that ball go on target, and the person who's now posting learns, well, this guy's a terrible shot. I'm not afraid of you. And I guarantee you, as a snapper, you're going to get blown to pieces. Most of the time.
You need someone shooting at you for it to be effective.
I think you need, you just need to see where your paint goes. Like I always tell people in that drill, like you want to be accurate, right? You know,
Yeah.
Snapping 101 is like, imagine if we're snapping against each other and you're behind a can and I'm behind a can and we're mirrored up. I know where you are. Like I imagine my bunkers, and this is my idea, are translucent. Imagine if their bunkers were translucent. That'd be so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see you. So my barrel's always going to be pointed at you. I'm going to come out. You're probably going to shoot me. This is a drill, but I'm going to shoot at you because you can't go back in. I'm going to watch where my paintball goes. If it goes high to the left, when I come back in, I'm not going to jerk in. Like I don't care about getting shot. I'm not afraid. But when I come back in, I was high to the left. I'm going to bring my barrel down low to the right. You haven't moved, right? Like granted, in the drill, we let people go up and down. So you could technically have moved. But for the sake of it, like you haven't moved. You can't go in. So then I'm going to come back out. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to try and go as fast as I possibly can, as wild as I can. I'm going to stay focused on making sure my ball hits you. And once that happens, then I can get into a rhythm of doing that. And then I can come down low and I can do that. And once I've done it a couple times in a row and I get to 80% speed, I reset, I readjust. Am I jerking in too fast? Where's my barrel? Where was the last couple balls? Has my target moved? And you're constantly asking yourself questions and reanalyzing. But
there you go.
I found so many people that they say that they do these things at home. Their aim is terrible because if you're not hitting somebody or at least forcing them to go in with that shot because it's close or could hit them, then you're going to get shot. And a lot of people, from Marcelo to Ryan, people will tell you, Tyler, Harmon, like if someone has dominance on you, like chances are you're not going to beat them.
Yeah.
Like you're just not, especially you could say in previous days and age when it was 15 balls a second full auto, like ain't worth coming out into that.
Yeah. I mean, unless, right, you have a titanium boomstick, then.
God, I wish I had it here. Damn it.
Nick, when I think about you, I think about someone who's an ambassador of the game that I love. I think about someone who loves paintball. I think about someone who loves his teammates, loves the game, and wants to contribute to the sport. I see that in you. How do you want to be remembered in paintball?
I don't. Oh man, that's a good question. I would say probably is someone who, damn dude, I don't know. How do I want to be remembered? Someone who always.
We all want to be remembered, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've had a lot of things happen. Like remembered in paintball, is someone who always helped and always smiled and enjoyed the game. Right. I definitely always try to have fun every second I can, especially at tournaments, because we're lucky we get, there were times where we played a lot more, but now we play 5 events a year. If you don't succeed or do well in the tournament, you're playing 4 pro matches. And so any opportunity I get to step out on the field against Dynasty, against Heat, against any of the people that I look that are still in the game that I look up to, and guys that have come up playing with and against, I always try to tease them and have fun, because that is living at the highest possible level at the thing that I love to do, and being able to beat those guys or outsmart them, whatever, means I still got it. So to be able to be remembered by my peers as being that guy and always enjoying the game and having a love for the game. And I would hope that in other people seeing that, they would remember that and then take that into themselves, is like, it's a sport. It's still just a game. And I love doing it, because you don't want to get to the point where, you don't love doing it and you're not enjoying it. And so I think that's what I would hope, that people would find inspiration from that and kind of help either ignite or rekindle their love and enjoyment of the game. And I really would hope too, I think that, because I love teaching stuff in paintball, that the people that I've taught have taken something from it and have been able to find success in their own way by tweaking what I've tried to teach them, or hope to, and I've hoped to imprint on them, on making it their own thing. Whether it's recognized or not, like, I don't need the praise. I don't want the praise, but I hope that people can take something from what I put out there, and they gain something from it.
What are you most thankful for that the sport has given you?
Friends, a job, being able to travel the world. I mean, I've met some of the greatest people in the world, and I've been able to travel and meet people all over the world that share the common things, that have the same common sacrifices and gone through the same common hardships, and that's made bonds tighter and friendships stronger. And because of paintball, I've been able to take I got to take my wife all over the world. And like I say, in 2014, it was our 1-year anniversary. She wrote me a card. I gave her a plane ticket to Paris. So there's a lot of things that paintball has given me, and the like friendships and travel on the way. Winning's nice too.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to part with for the paintball community?
For the paintball community, always watch paintball content, paintball media. If you really enjoy playing paintball and you have questions, always ask. I definitely want to give a shout out to Dave, Rhonda, Chris, Devin, Billy, John, Steven, all the guys, Nate, all the guys, Carl, all the guys that die. And beyond that, just don't forget it's a game. Enjoy playing. Take a break every now and again for those of you that are immersed in the tournament side of things, and go jump in the woods, turn your gun to semi-auto, cap it at 8 balls a second, and go have some fun. Or better yet, if you see a birthday party at your local field, go spend time with their birthday boy and let them use your paintball gun. If it's an electronic one shooting 10.5, just go have some fun in that aspect of it, and think about the things that you didn't have coming up in paintball that you would like to see, and take the time and spread that knowledge to the walk-on players, because what we do in the tournament side of things is very niche, right? There are a lot of us, but there are way more people that play paintball recreationally in scenario games than there are of us. And that ultimately is what sustains the paintball fields and stores, that keeps our passion alive. So, next time you're out at your local park, take a break from practice or doing what you're doing, and go enjoy some paintball, or try and help out those walk-on guys. Don't blow.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Hey, thank you.